Fish Talk with Leo. That's right, it's me, Leo! Interviewing the experts and taking you behind the scenes of all the amazing work that's happening at Parks Canada. See that plant? Those reeds swaying in the wind? They may seem all innocent, but that's Phragmites, and it's an invasive plant taking over our wetlands. Fortunately, the team from Parks Canada is helping to get rid of this plant bully. Hey Laura, what you doing?
I'm just out here mapping Phragmites.
What exactly is Phragmites?
This here is the arch enemy of wetlands. It's an invasive plant, so the patches can grow quite dense and the roots can even release a toxin into the soil, which prevents other native plants from growing in the wetland.
Holy crayfish! That's worse than I thought. How does that help you figure out how to deal with this wetland bully?
Well, with a combination of different equipment, we use a handheld GPS unit to map the boundary of the patch, and then we take a bunch of measurements of the Phragmites itself, the height of it, as well as doing a density check. So we count how many stems are in 1 square meter.
So what do you do with all the information?
So once we've collected all the information and we have the heights and the density and we know exactly the size of the patch, I take this into Tina, and she's our geomatics coordinator, and she helps me put all this data together so that it's all clean and we can decide which patches are more important to tackle first.
What the heck is geomatics?
So she works with a lot of geographical information systems, which is just a fancy word for saying Google Maps.
Well, that sounds pretty fantastic, but I'm not quite sure how all this works. Tina, I've seen Laura in the field using these fun gadgets, but how do they help you figure out how to deal with this nasty plant?
We map the Phragmites. We map all the patches that are surrounding our Beausoleil Island shoreline. We map it using GPS, which is a really cool technology.
Very interesting.
You know, GPS is everywhere these days. We all have it in our phones, we have it in our cars. It helps us know how to get to the closest donut shop or to grandma's house. So this GPS unit is way more accurate than the GPS units that are in our phones. So we can use it to capture that data in the field. So when we have it in the computer, we can perform all different sorts of analysis with it. We can create really cool looking pictures and maps to show exactly where these features are in the real world. And we can turn it into information so that it helps people make decisions.
What kind of decisions does it help you make?
It helps us determine which patches we're going to cut first and how we're going to cut them.
Wow.
So you can see here on the screen, we have the different sizes of the patches. So looking at this and also some of the data that's associated with each patch, Laura, our coordinator, is going to look at this and she's going to say, okay, these little small areas here, we can cut them really easily. And it helps us put together a whole plan of how we're going to impede the reed and protect the wetlands.
Ooh, impede the reed. Yo, 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 impede the reed. Impede the reed. Ugh, there has to be a song in there somewhere. So, Laura, if you don't have any of this fancy GPS technology, how do you know Phragmites is moving into your neighborhood wetlands?
You can tell that Phragmites is moving into an area. You can tell by the height of the plant. It grows quite quickly, as well as one of the key indicators is the seed head. So you can see here that it's tan in color, and there's lots and lots of seed heads at the very top.
So if we see one, should we pull it out?
We don't want to pull it because if we pull it out, it disturbs the root system in the soil, and we can break off little pieces which can then start new plants. So the best way to do it is to cut the stem of the Phragmites with specialized tools, and then we know for sure that we're doing the best thing we can. We're removing the plant and we're creating an opportunity for water to be soaked up into the root system and the plant can die.
How can we all lend a fin to help impede the reed?
It'd be great if all fish heads could help cut down Phragmites. The best way to do it is to go through a volunteer organization, like a conservation authority, where you learn how to cut it properly. Here at the park, we have a project called Impede the Reed, where we'll have lots of volunteers out to come help the fish communities, help the frog communities, and cut down the Phragmites like the patches behind me.
Impede the Reed, your fish and frog communities are in need. Ha! Not quite a song, but it rhymes.